Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Don't Tell Me How to Fan. My name is Josh Albrecht, and with me, as always, is my good friend, John Taylor. John, how are we doing today?
Hey, Josh, doing great. Always great after a Packers win. Happy to have said that more times than not this year. So
Very true. Very true. Although this game had a lot going in it, a lot of tension,
sure did.
a lot of stress for me over here, a lot of things I was not a fan of, but they did come away with a win. Packers beat the Jaguars 30-27. Our predictions for last week, you had 34-17. I had 24-16. Packers won 30-27.
A lot closer than I think either one of us wanted. You know,
I did say it was going to be a trap game, but I thought that they were still going to come away with the win, which they did. But yeah, did not think it was going to come down to a last-second field goal.
Felt very trappy. I think when you look at the fact that obviously Love got hurt, tried to play through it. I think if Love was healthy during this game, we probably put up a lot more points. I think we just boat race them. I will say, I think defensively, we saw some of the worst performances by a lot of guys on the team, namely some of the rookies.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just kind of add that together in a pretty hot game for end of October too. You know, I mean, Packers historically don't play well in Florida, and especially 85-degree heat. So I'm hoping some of these pull-ups, bad legs, obviously Love's groin is a different story, but hoping some of this is getting exacerbated by the heat, right? And we can hopefully kind of get everybody back and firing on all cylinders, because next week is a very tough test. So
Yes, it is. And we're going to get into that and plus a bunch of other things. But let's start with Love. Jordan Love, before he came out of the game with his injury, I don't know exactly how far into the game he had that first kind of that pass and hobble out. They only showed it about 1,000 times during the game, but
yeah,
it seemed like before he came out of the game, he was making mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? Like that interception that he threw,
Mm-hmm.
but then Xavier McKinney goes around and picks it off right back. But was not a good throw.
No.
That was not a good decision.
No.
At some point, can someone besides me be worried about this aspect of Jordan Love? Because you started this by saying, I think that if Jordan Love keeps playing and he's fine, that we boat race him. I don't know. I'm not saying that I think that Malik Willis is better. Please, everyone who's on that train right now, let's calm down.
Yeah,
But
get off it. Get off that train.
But I am gonna say I'm not super happy with his play. I can't sit here and tell you, yeah, Jordan Love has just been killing it. A lot of touchdowns, a lot of interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, he was on pace before today's game, and I would have to take another look, but he was on pace this season to throw 45 touchdowns and like 25 interceptions.
Yeah.
Which is like hilarious, like Dan Marino numbers. So, I mean, he probably, I don't think he does anymore, but he was leading the league in touchdowns and he was leading the league in interceptions. I don't know. You know, I think I'm less concerned about the interceptions, and I think we'll probably naturally kind of talk about it. What I'm more concerned about is it feels like we're getting back into like hero ball territory. I think we've had
go hand in hand.
Sure. I think 3 games with Malik behind the helm, and you see a lot more schemed up plays. Just all of the throws being inside the system and inside the scheme, a lot more than what we've been seeing from Jordan Love the last couple games. I don't know. It's interesting. I think that's where I get a little more concerned about Jordan Love. I don't think he's earned the right to be wheeling and dealing as hard as he is. I think Matt LaFleur in the offense clearly believes in him and his talent, so they're kind of letting him go for it in those ways. But I think at some point we're not doing him a favor if we're not trying to drill those bad habits out of him. So, I still think he's one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the league. I think I would have said top 5 if he would have looked a little more consistent and had a little more or a little less interceptions, but I still think he clears the top 10 bar easily.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, here's what I'm thinking of. My brain keeps going back to how that game ended against San Francisco last season. And we all chalked it up as he picked an awful time to have a rookie mistake, right? That was a young player mistake, and it just happened at the worst time. And we all kind of just shrugged it off because he had been playing lights out. I feel like he's already had a decent amount of those plays this season. I'm not saying that I think he's a bad quarterback. I'm not saying that we should be starting Malik Willis over him. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying in comparison to what I thought Jordan Love was going to be, which I did not think he was going to continue to be the Jordan Love that we saw down the stretch last season. I knew he was going to regress a little bit. I think that's natural. Otherwise, he was going to win MVP. But I still think this was surprising. I didn't expect it to be to this level of, yeah, clearly you can make this play, but should you try it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's some like arm arrogance going on. I think he can and has shown an ability to make every throw on the field. And I think unearned, he has decided that he should be attempting those at all times. But I don't know, man. The Packers are 6-2. I can't really argue too much, especially.
Well, of course you can. It's sports. We can argue about things all the time. Like Malik Willis is a stud.
It's hard to argue that. That's for sure. Even though we're supposed to.
Look, look, this was not a schemed game for Malik Willis.
Nope.
Right? He came in. You could have said like, okay, they're not going to have the play set up for him this time. He came in, got him down the field, had some great throws.
Yeah, I had a beautiful little shimmy there to get a little nice little scramble. Immediately showing the defense that they have to honor his athleticism, which I thought was great. Yeah, he had a really like unsung play. I think everyone obviously wants to talk about that massive touchdown or throw to Jaden Reed to kind of get them back in chip shot distance. But I mean, really, you would talk about like his ability to scramble, hang in the pocket. He delivered a ball to Dontavian Wicks for 5 yards, got us the first down, set up that play. I mean, really just kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what more can be said? It's somebody who is getting thrown into a game, like you said, that was not schemed for him. And what's interesting is they get back to some like Matt LaFleur's signature looks when Malik Willis is when he's in the game. And when Jordan Love is in the game, we're not seeing some of this creativity. So that's the thing I'm not understanding. I'm not saying we need to be running triple option with Jordan Love just because he can scramble, but I definitely think.
Who do you think that's on? Do you think that's on Love or LaFleur?
I mean, I don't think Jordan Love is checking out of plays like Aaron Rodgers used to do. I think it truly is Matt LaFleur also trusts Jordan Love's ability. And obviously a lot of play designs have deep shot plays. A lot of play designs have crossers, kind of more aggressive throws with the express purpose of drawing away defenders to get a more advantageous throw to maybe that's less explosive in terms of like, that EPA explosive, like the analytics, PFF stuff or whatever. I think Jordan Love is just taking deep shots on some of those deep routes because he can get away with it. And I don't think Matt LaFleur is too upset by it, And I think like really there's a lot more eye candy. There's a lot easier reads to make for Malik Willis. And so they end up being smaller and in advantageous and favorable positions for the wide receivers and Malik. It's an easier offense, but it's one that the league doesn't really have to deal with a ton. And especially when Malik can come in and make the very few throws he needs to make in those situations. I mean, because the other big thing is like Jordan Love went down, Malik Willis came in, and Josh Jacobs was like, oh, hey, I'll just completely change the narrative on my entire season with 138-yard run, So
yeah. Where's that when Jordan Love's in the game? Right. It does seem like when Malik is in, right, then it's like, okay, Love is out. Hand me the Josh Jacobs playbook. Okay, let's go here. Okay, let's do this one. And it doesn't seem like those are in the playbook when Love is in a quarterback.
Yeah. It's hard to want to drive the Toyota Corolla when the Ferrari is sitting right next to you. You know what I mean? It is more exciting to be able to do. Yeah.
But stop. But I don't like that. I don't like that out of my coach. If that's truly the case. Yeah. Stop driving the Ferrari. Win the damn game.
Yeah.
Get there in the Corolla.
Well, he got hurt long before he got taken out. And I think that also didn't help. I think like that interception, I think should he have thrown quarters man to man? Probably not. I mean, it's just one of those things. Do I think if he could probably, now knowing it's his groin, do I think if he could have driven on his foot a little harder and really delivered that ball? I don't think it gets intercepted if it doesn't get, it wasn't the most exciting or drilled in ball that Jordan Love's ever thrown. And I think just like the injury, he couldn't move. Play calling got like super stagnant. I think about that. We got in the red zone and we ran 3 plays instead of taking shots in the end zone in the second quarter. I want to say that's 100% a thing of the injury. They knew he was hurting and they were just wanting to put him back there as a turret and just throw the ball downfield where he could. So I don't know. I think like the game plan went out the window long before Malik Willis came in. And I think we were just experiencing the stagnation and the effects of that. So.
What was your mindset at when Malik came in the game? Did you still feel confident in the Packers' ability?
Well,
to win the game?
I'm trying to remember what the score was when Malik Willis came. Because
I'm not sure.
I can probably find out pretty quick. He got injured with like 10 seconds left in the third quarter. So we were up 20 to probably 10 at the point. I think after he came in, it was 2017. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I didn't feel great about it, but that's because there was a ton of other things that I didn't love about it. I thought the defense really kind of was letting it go. So it's like I said, to have the defense also put up maybe one of its worst performances compounded with, and I say that this is all to scale with the opponent. The defense had a terrible game against the Vikings. I'm aware of that. But what I mean is like, the Jaguars aren't that good of a football team. They have a couple really talented guys. Like Trevor Lawrence continues to show why he's so perplexing as a first-round pick. I think he played really well today. As much as it pains me to give him credit, because I love watching first-round draft picks or first overall picks kind of not do well. Caleb Williams. Anyways, it's just one of those things that like, yeah, we will for sure. That ending was hilarious. He played really well. I mean, Christian Kirk got injured. Brian Thomas Jr. also got hurt. It's like they really started cooking when Trevor kind of realized he just needed to like start making some plays. Evan Ingram's back, so it's like, I just don't think this team is talented enough for it to be as close as it was, especially before he got injured. And that's the part that I think is the most frustrating to me. So.
I just was so confused watching this game because in the beginning, when the offense couldn't find a way to get in the end zone, which I still have a problem with this Packers red zone offense. Why is it so difficult for us once we get to the 20? But the defense in the beginning of the game was perfect. I mean, I don't know what else you want from there's nothing. You can't. I mean, I think it went like a punt, interception. I think we're like their first 3 drives. For the Jags, and I was like, all right, well, now's a great game for the Packers defense to keep doing this because Packers offense ain't got it, especially if Love's not going to be in. And then the defense completely changes, and you're just watching the Jags at the end of the first half just move down the field. I'm going, what's going on?
Yeah, you want to know what's funny is the Packers. You want to know how the Packers' first 3 drives started compared to the Jaguars' punt, interception? Packers' first 3 drives went punt, interception. So it was basically just a gridlock of nothing for the entire first quarter. I mean, the game really didn't start until the second quarter at all, so
that's true.
Not to say that that's much better. Man, Xavier McKinney's interception was so good. Holy cow.
Yeah, he's incredible. Yeah. But he can't do it all.
Yeah.
And there were just, like you said, there was just a lot of mistakes from the defense today. And it just was really hard to watch. It just seemed like 2 extremes. Like, okay, this is great play, and then this is awful play. I mean, when the defense really needed to step up, and then they got that forced fumble, that sack fumble, I was like, let's go. And then next drive that the defense is on the field, they can't stop anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jags were moving down the field, no problem. And then they scored. And I was like, what happened? What just happened to the other good defense that was out there maybe 10 minutes ago?
Well, I will say this, man. Speaking of like, there's some like snap count stuff. Dude, they are not playing Edgerrin Cooper enough, especially for the amount of splash plays he had. You're talking about Eric Wilson had the most snaps with Quay Walker being out, 57. And then they basically split time between Isaiah McDuffie and Edgerrin Cooper. I just don't get it. Like, Wilson has been playing above his contract and what his entire existence in the NFL is.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's this guy. And I just don't understand how you draft Edgerrin Cooper to be a more toolsy and talented Quay Walker, and you're just not putting him in those spots. I just don't understand it. And I get, like, I'm not there at practice. I'm not there in the meeting rooms. There's clearly something going on where they don't feel like he's ready. But I'm wondering, like, if he wasn't injured in training camp, would they be playing him by now? Because I just don't know what else he's supposed to be doing, especially in a game, like you said, where after the first quarter, our defense was, it's like that cat on the tree in those classic posters. It was just hanging in there, it was just trying. So I just don't understand what more this dude needs to do. I mean, that play where he had that huge third down pass breakup on Christian Kirk, the one unfortunately ended up getting injured. It sounds like he's going to be out for the rest of the season with a collarbone injury. So it's a bummer for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, it did not look good.
No, you could tell immediately the way he was writhing around, which also, can you just not show a player writhing around in pain?
How, I get it, for a few seconds, but then realize what's happening.
Yeah, they were.
Who's in the production room that can't go, all right, switch to cam 3? What?
Yep.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was definitely the C team all the way around. But what can you expect when Kenny Alberts and Jonathan Villamar are in the booth, man? You're not getting A+ production either. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not sure what more he needs to do, but I think this is a game where you look at the tape and you go, shit, maybe we should be really living with whatever mistakes, because when Quay was healthy, I could see it, I could see it. I can't see it with him injured. I don't get it. He played so well. He had a run stop on third down, which forced a punt. He got a tackle covering the kickoff, strip sack. He got the strip sack.
Yeah. That was
caused that turnover. And then, he had that huge pass breakup on third and long versus Christian Kirk. And if he doesn't get there, he probably catches that ball. He was cradling it. He punched it out as he was on the ground. He didn't carry the reception through the catch because of that. And I just don't understand. I cannot explain to you how impressive a play it was. He was mugging the A gap, which means he was on the line of scrimmage at the start of that play and retreated in coverage, spun out of rushing, we talk about simulated pressures and disguise looks, and ran down 15 plus yards to make that play, all in the span that it took Trevor Lawrence to drop back and decide he was going to take that throw. Like, the dude's explosive. He's really exciting.
He's great.
One of the really only bright spots of the defense, if I'm being honest.
Well, and one of the biggest clouds was the fact that Evan Williams if we're looking for what changed, that's what changed. The Jags didn't have a first down until he was out. Literally they could not get a first down, and then Evan Williams went down, and then that's when they got a first down. That's now I haven't heard anything about his status. Do we know?
I haven't heard anything in regards to Evan Williams. It took about 4 more drives for the broadcast booth to even mention that he was out, our starting safety.
Should we just pause the show right now to talk about the broadcast?
Let's do it. They're so bad, dude. This group
awful.
Is so terrible.
I vent tweeted 4 times about the broadcast. I was saying, why the hell can no one give me an update on Love? The second that Love went in the blue tent, why was there not a reporter right fucking there to say, okay, I'm waiting. I'm going to find out what the hell's going on. And then let the broadcasters know the second he comes out, hey, I just talked to XYZ as Jordan Love was leaving the tent, blah, 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 blah. There was nothing. All we saw was, I don't even think they addressed it at the time that the cameraman showed Love going in. It was just they were talking about the play as Jordan Love goes into the blue tent. And then you didn't hear another thing. It was just, and there's Jordan Love coming back onto the field. Because what? Because he's fine? Because someone confirmed that they were checking him in the blue tent for X, and then nothing happened. There was no story. Nothing. What are we doing? There was a girl there. I saw her in pre-show about
she's
Megan something or other.
Megan O'Leary. Listen, she was the only, I would say, bright spot of
Brush
the
wasn't there,
broadcast.
John.
I
That's
don't
her
know.
job. Be there.
I understand that. I just separate of that, I want to give her flowers because she did a pretty extensive piece about Josh Jacobs, spent time in Green Bay. There was a huge pregame interview. They really actually cut to her and she gave really interesting insights. So it's like, I don't know what the injury protocol is, especially
the one time I needed her to talk, she didn't
100%,
talk.
100%. And that's bad. I don't disagree. I don't know who makes that decision. You know what I mean? I don't know
Big quarterback went intent, came out,
Yeah.
nothing.
I
It's
know.
not difficult.
Yeah. I
Even
was,
if
yeah.
you didn't get to talk to him, then say like you saw Jordan Love exit, hey guys, I saw Jordan Love, he exited the tent, he put his helmet on right away. It looks like he's gonna like do something. Don't just completely ignore it. Oh, it pissed me off.
Yeah.
Can you tell pissed me off?
I can tell you're pissed.
All right. I was really
well,
not
I don't
doing
know.
that.
Yeah. About 4 hours ago, Tom Pelissero tweeted Jordan Love will undergo test Monday, but there's optimism he avoided a long-term injury today, per sources. Love kept playing after tweaking his groin, but eventually had to come out. Status to be determined for Sunday's showdown against the Lions. So, pretty good report given what Matt LaFleur had to say in the presser, that it's a high degree of concern, or high whatever that language was. But yeah, not great. So,
Did you have other things about the broadcast before we put that to bed that you want to?
Oh, I don't. I mean, what? Yeah, just they're bad. I literally I don't watch sporting events with trying to. Usually, I'm not moved by announcers in that way. I remember back in the day when everyone talked crap about Pat Summerall and John Madden later in the years, and how everyone said it was. I just like either it's good and I'm happy about it, or it's like I just ignore it. But yeah, I don't know. Kenny Alberts is a wet blanket in the wettest of blankets, and Jonathan Vilma literally adds nothing. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know if the way they were like cheering on the Jaguars was insane to me. Like it was not even like split down the middle. And I don't know if it's like trying to keep a game close and drum up excitement, but they're just bad. And it just like those kinds of like, there's a masterful way to try to keep fans engaged while they're watching a maybe not so close game, or trying to celebrate how maybe a game is closer than they expected. But when you're bad at it, it is so painfully obvious that you lack the skills to do the job well. And I question why Vilma has a job.
But also it's a lack of respect for Jordan Love. Look, even against the Jaguars, if Aaron Rodgers was still the quarterback of the Packers, this isn't the team that gets sent to Jacksonville to call this game.
Sure.
It's not.
Yeah, of course not.
There's a disrespect of, well, it's okay. It's the Packers and Jaguars. It's not Aaron Rodgers versus the Jaguars. That's the difference. When Fox is making their decision on who goes where.
Yeah.
And I know that because we're getting Brady next week against the Lions.
Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I don't know if it's disrespect. I don't know. There's not Aaron Rodgers, and the Jags freaking stink. The London Jaguars are terrible. So,
but I'm saying if Aaron Rodgers was there,
I know. I went almost 15 years without having to experience the D team. I get your point for sure.
Yeah.
Especially because like usually they'll throw a better booth on an AFC opponent because it's like uncommon for the broadcast. Anyways, they're just bad. I don't know. It's like I didn't really love it. It's it's like there's only 17 of these, so to have somebody actively take me out of it, and it's not even like I was being forced to listen to like the Jaguars radio. This isn't like baseball or basketball where sometimes
still a national broadcast team.
Yeah, it's a national broadcast team. So why did it? Yeah, I don't know. It was bad. And normally I don't, like I said, it's the same way I don't like. I'd rather complain about the team committing the penalties than the refs throwing them. It's like when it's like auxiliary stuff, I'd rather just like focus on the team. But like, yeah, it's just like it was a bad game. I was annoyed the defense was playing bad. I was annoyed that Jordan Love got hurt. I was annoyed that the game was closer than I wanted it to be. And then, this is just like a turd sandwich on top of the rest of it.
Yeah, it was definitely a turd sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, John, sometimes we do a little bit here where we talk about things we're not a fan of.
Yeah.
And I was going to start by saying, John, I'm not a huge fan of the injuries, but we've talked a lot about the injuries and what's going on and the fact that there's a lot of unknowns. So I'm just going to skip to my next one. John, you know what I'm not a fan of?
What are you not a fan of, Josh?
I'm not a fan of the Detroit Lions right now.
Oh, man. Me neither.
Man, 52 points against the Titans today, 52-14, I believe. Crushed them in Detroit.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I knew that the Lions were still good, but I was spending all this time, if you've listened to other shows or other episodes, worrying about the Vikings, who blew it on Thursday.
You mean the third place Vikings?
Yes, the third place Vikings. Meanwhile, the Lions are like, yeah, you forgot about us, and we are nasty, and they're gonna hurt. We talked about the fact that they're sending the A squad for that matchup against
Mhm.
the Lions, and so not a huge fan of that. But the question becomes, looking ahead for that game against the Lions.
Right.
I'm gonna put this to bed right away. The idea of the not trying is so dumb.
Yep.
It is absolutely. This is a game against a division opponent. I don't care if Jordan Love is healthy, if he's not healthy. There's no like, well, this game we're just gonna lose. Okay.
Mhm.
I used to do a radio show with a guy who was stupid enough to say, you know, against the Cardinals once when Aaron Rodgers was going to be out, we might as well just forfeit. You can't do that, especially in a game against the division opponent.
Yep.
Absolutely not. What I do want them to do is not diddle daddle with it. Make a decision of who's going to start that game. If it is going to be Malik Willis, then scheme for that, plan for that, prep for that. And,
Yeah.
we look, he's 2-0. I'm not saying that I love the idea of it, but two and a half, three. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna
I don't
say
know
he's
how you
kind
want
of
to.
3-0. I mean, he
Yeah, I guess.
drove us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you split that, but either
Yeah.
way, I don't want it to be to where you're thinking, don't put that on Malik to where he's going to go into the week thinking, no, Jordan Love can play. He's at
Yep.
like 75%, but he can go, and then throw him in when after the first drive, it's like, nope, groin's still a thing. Like, just don't do that. You can't afford to do that
Yeah.
in this game against the Lions because it is going to be an incredibly tough matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to have to try to thread the very delicate needle of devising a game plan that would equally work. Or if the Venn diagram there needs to be more center overlap of a game plan that works for both Jordan Love and Malik Willis. Because I think ultimately you're right. At this stage, you have to assume Malik Willis is going to play next week until tests confirm otherwise and treatment throughout the week. By Wednesday or Thursday, the Packers internally will probably have a very good idea, but they can't assume he's going to play because that's a free way to lose the game if Malik just starts, And I think ultimately the Lions are really good. They're the best team in the NFC. I hate to say it, but they absolutely are. Jared Goff probably should be the MVP of the
Oh,
league.
I don't hate
Actually,
saying that.
I know it's probably going to be Lamar actually, and that's totally fair. But yeah, I mean, he's just playing that level. I mean, he's in the conversation.
Yeah.
Out of everybody in the
Yeah,
NFC,
I know you're
he's
right.
the
I
only
just
guy.
don't like.
I know. I don't. I
when you
mean,
say
I'm
it.
not a fan of the Lions either, and this
Yeah.
is the not a fan, and I'm not a fan of that. But what I'm not a fan of is, yeah, I'm not a fan of the idea that we should just like punt this game in the favor of like getting Jordan Love healthy, because that
Yeah.
implies the rest of our team isn't talented enough to go out and compete. And I just think that proves to be the case. I think there's enough skill, there's enough talent, there's enough weapons around Malik Willis that as long as he does what he needs to do inside the game plan of whatever Matt LaFleur schemes up, it will be hard. But beating the Lions in Green Bay is not impossible next week. I just don't like their chances. So
Do not forget, last year, Packers played the Lions on Thanksgiving
in Detroit, right?
in Detroit.
Yep.
Everyone was set up and ready for the train to just run them over.
Well, we got embarrassed in the first game at Green Bay,
And the Packers
So,
killed them on that Thanksgiving game. I'm just saying, you never know what's going to happen. And
Yep.
this team has proven that they deserve a shot.
Yeah.
We'll see how they actually come out and play.
Yeah.
And if they lose, I don't think anyone should be surprised. But I don't think it should be something to where if Jordan Love isn't in, the game's over. That's not true. Also, I don't think it should be something to where they force Jordan Love in because they think they don't have a shot without him.
Yeah. Well, and also to your point, the Lions beat the Tennessee Titans 52-14.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers with Malik Willis, after his second start as a Green Bay Packer, 4 weeks after being traded to the Green Bay Packers, beat him 30-14. So the Titans are a terrible team.
Right.
Good football teams beat bad football teams. So to just copy and paste a 52-14 score on the Green Bay Packers is so wildly disrespectful to the Green Bay Packers. And I know you said that, but I just want to contextualize it for everybody listening. The Packers are a Super Bowl contender. And this game, with or without Love, should be more competitive than 52-14. So to just automatically assume that because one guy can't go is absolutely absurd. And I think we're belaboring this point to the moon and back. But we beat him 30-14 with Malik Willis. So you never know. I think like Aiden Hutchinson being out for the year, that pass rush, significantly less scary. Their entire front went the way Aiden Hutchinson went. Jameson Williams. That's right? Jameson Williams. He's out with their wide receiver. He's out with a PED suspension.
Yes.
Amon-Ra St. Brown's still incredible. And obviously, like, Jair probably needs to shadow him, even in the slot. Javon Bullard needs to have a way better game.
Yeah, we didn't talk about him.
I mean, they started putting that LSU guy, Brian Thomas Jr., right?
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Bryant Jr. I forget what his name is.
Thomas, last name.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah. In the slot, and they were just abusing him all day long. And I don't know if it's because of splitting time. I still think his best role is as a slot, but when you're putting arguably the most talented wide receiver on the Jaguars now, it seems, between Kirk and Davis being what they are against your safety slot, I mean, that's, you hold yourself, it becomes liable. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think this is like, maybe we were singing the defense's praises so hard last week. It just seemed to be way less creative. You could tell the Texans, sometimes you can tell when a game plan is like, I don't know if these guys slept the week before going against the Texans. I don't know if they'll sleep going into the Lions, but the way they played, it just felt like they got a lot of sleep this week. They did not sweat the Jaguars.
Right.
And I think really
that's why it was a trap game.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking about this game. They were thinking about the Lions.
Yeah.
It was like, no, you got to focus on the Jaguars first.
Yep.
That was
spent half the week patting yourself on the back, and then you spent the next week looking ahead. You know what I'm not a fan of?
What are you not a fan of, John?
Well, we kind of talked about it. Sorry. I'm not a fan of playing outside of the scheme. We talked about it early, but I need to see the team, specifically Jordan Love, start taking more of the gimmies that the Matt LaFleur offense provides. I think there's a lot being left on the table. Sorry, I was just kind of thinking about if I wanted to bring up Robert Saleh right now or not. And I don't think I do. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's necessarily going to be.
That he's now there. He's just hanging out. He doesn't have a role, right? Like a title?
No, I think he's a consultant. The idea is they brought in somebody. I forget. The consultant. They brought a Lions guy.
NBC.
Man, I wish I knew. Was it Matt Patricia? They brought in a Lions like defensive mind to consult the offense. In like the 21 season, I want to say. And the whole idea is that like Robert Saleh is an incredible defensive coordinator. Like there's no taking away what he's done as a defensive coordinator. He's just not a good head coach yet for the NFL. And so I think he's giving scouting looks like, hey, offense, when you do this is as a defense, this is what we're thinking. And I think probably Hafley doesn't have the time to offer up that kind of advice. It's not like Hafley's watching the offense to figure out how they could get exploited by a good defense. But I mean, Matt LaFleur, was Robert Saleh's best man? Or maybe it was the other way around. Either way, they have they're clearly like very, very, very close. So it's like, why not? He in terms of defense, he's one of the best minds in football. So, but my point about why I went back and forth is I just think I don't think the interceptions he's throwing, those like really aggressive deep shots, while I personally can live with them, I could see compounded over a season if he doesn't start thinking more intently about how he's distributing the ball. I think that's how you find yourself losing games late in the year, late at games, end of season, so I just don't want these what seem to be like outliers to me right now to become habits. And I'm hoping that getting back in the scheme, playing within rhythm, because dude, you want to talk about the red zone. We don't even need to rehash the first one. He was clearly hurt. You start at the 9. First of all, first and goal at the 9 is a nightmare for any offense. You get a 5-yard penalty. First and 14, there is no first down. So you're literally just playing to try to get a touchdown. It's just there is no real chipping away at there. It's in terms of play calling, it's really challenging. But I mean, think about the Malik Willis touchdown that he got was that Jacobs? Was that the little swing pass, or was it? Anyways, whoever it was so free. It was absolutely so free. Yeah. So I just want to see stuff like that.
I 100% agree with you, John.
With Jordan Love around, and I know you know that, but
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that it's going to be something that we're focusing on this week, though. I really do, and maybe that's a good thing, but I feel like we're going to see a lot of LaFleur's scheme this week because I think it's going to be Malik Willis.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing, right? Yeah, I mean, if that's our best chance to win this game is more MLF than Love right now, anyways.
Right?
Because that's the whole point, right? You can take bad shots, deep shots, and get away with it, like that Jaden Reed throw against the Texans, right over the middle. That I guess was it the Cardinals, whatever that triple coverage shows. You can't make that throw against the Lions. Not even because, he made it and that's good, or I think their secondary is more talented. I actually think throwing the ball in the Lions is the easiest way to like exploit their defense. But the point is like, you can't afford to be that careless with the football against good football teams. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to take those explosives off the table if they aren't 100% in your favor. And I think Jordan Love is throwing a lot of balls right now that, because of how talented he is at throwing the football, think like plays that he shouldn't be making are being made. And against good football teams, hell, good plays get turned into turnovers. So it's just something I'm curious about. If he does play, what does that look like? Obviously, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have more examples to draw from of like, what does heavily schemed up games with Jordan Love look like? But we probably won't see it next week. I mean, we definitely won't if Malik is playing, but this is, like we said, we're talking about like kind of like 20,000 foot view of the season.
Right.
What does a heavy scheme LaFleur game look like with Jordan Love now that we know Jordan Love can do a lot, And so, yeah, it's interesting. We'll see. So I'm not a fan of it though. I'm not a fan of, in my opinion, having the coach of the year not having his playbook utilized to its fullest.
So before we move off of the line, should we use now to do? I know we're a little early for predictions, but should we do our prediction for the game against the Lions?
Yeah. How do you want to do this? And I say it this way: do we want to do it with Malik as a starter right now, and then maybe we just cut up another?
I want your prediction.
Yeah.
Based on everything.
Okay.
Tell me what your prediction is going to be and why you think that's your prediction.
Okay. You go first.
Okay, great. As I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, my prediction is you should go first.
You're not going to like mine.
Okay.
I think they're going to just get destroyed. I think they're going to lose by 2 touchdowns.
Okay, so what's the score?
I think it's going to be 42-26.
Lions.
Yes, Lions.
Okay, cool.
I think that Malik will play. I think that Malik will do okay. I think Josh Jacobs will do okay. I think the scheming will be okay. But I still don't believe in this defense enough to, especially if Evan Williams is going to be like, I don't know. I just feel like they looked so rough today against the Jaguars where they just cannot look that way against the Lions. Mm-hmm. And so McKinney's not going to be able to do it all. They'll just be like, we'll just avoid him and we'll win the game. And I think they will.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be a little bit of a wake-up call. And I think that a lot of Packers fans will say, well, we didn't have Jordan Love. What did you expect?
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, that shouldn't be the way they look at it.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be 31-29.
Oh, my
Packers.
God.
I think I'm going to take the Packers.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I think Jordan Love does play. I think this game hopefully is a good reminder that they're young. And in the words of Outkast, when they lean a little bit closer, they see their roses really smell like poo poo, ooh, ooh, ooh. Because, I don't know. This was just like, I think, like I said, I think a lot of this game was they beat the Texans. They were excited about it. Big game, got up for it. I think they got let down on this one. We'll see. I mean, it's a home game.
I got to ask.
Yeah.
In your prediction.
Yeah.
Is it 28? Is it 29 to 28?
Yes. Yep.
That then
McManus hits a third.
McManus hits a third in a row.
I fully believe it. I think it's going to be a little closer.
Second field goal.
Yep. Yeah. And part of it too is I was thinking like, do I just flip the actual final score of the Vikings Packers game? Like I'm like, do they, if like with a little more time, Like, I don't think the Packers are in a position, whether Love or Willis, to turn the ball over as much as they did to start. Like, I don't think they'll have a 3 turnover half for the rest of the season. And I was like, man, if they really were a little bit closer. I mean, truthfully, we beat the Vikings if we had McManus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or McManus, emphasis on the anus. But anyways,
or just a kicker.
Yeah.
In general.
Well, he's our kicker now, and he hits everything at a 90% clip inside of 40. So yes, that is exactly why I asked you to go first. I was trying to figure out which numbers I wanted to go around. I don't think the Titans are bad. The Packers will not allow. I don't think Goff has as much time. I fully believe we have the ability to get home. I mean, the Lions have an incredible offensive line. It's one of the top.
The Jaguars don't have a great offense. And they exposed the Packers today. They exposed the Packers in a way of saying, hey, look, you can take a minute and a half and move down the field on this team.
Sure.
They showed that could be done.
Yeah. Today, it was not great. Next week,
if they play different,
might not be great.
If they play different next week, perfect.
I just think it's a divisional opponent. People play to their, uncommon. I think the Titans were probably not expecting the Lions to buzzsaw them the way they did. I didn't really get a chance to watch that game, so I don't know. I mean, it escalated very quickly, clearly. Yeah. So, I think if like the Lions go up 3 touchdowns, I don't know if the Packers will have another performance in them. But I think if we can duel them, battle back and forth in terms of scoring, kind of like today's game, it should not have been a duel, but it was pretty back and forth. I think
it absolutely was.
I think it shouldn't have been. But if the Packers are at home, even against the Lions, I still put my money on the Packers. We only have one more loss than they do. You know what I mean?
It's true.
If Jordan Love plays, don't get me wrong. The Lions, I think, are officially Super Bowl favorites, especially with the way the Chiefs are playing. Do I think the Chiefs probably will still win the Super Bowl? Yes, but I don't think they should be the favorite to do it. I think the Lions look absolutely incredible right now, but they are in our division. And we all know division opponents, those games get mucky. They get weird. They know each other way more than most other teams, obviously. So I'm just not willing to.
It is at Lambeau. It is at Lambeau.
Yeah.
It's not in Florida.
I think it's more likely to be close in your prediction, unless you don't think Jordan Love's playing. I don't remember. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what you said.
That's why I said that.
Yeah.
My prediction. That's fair. My prediction is not that deep different if Jordan Love plays in the game.
Interesting.
I do not think he's going to play.
Okay.
And so that's why I said I think that Malik putting up 26 points is good. Like I think that's not a bad score, but I just think that it's not going to be. There's going to be too many drives that stall way too quick. Defense back on the field. And they just can't keep up.
Yeah.
With the Lions.
Is it too late for me to change my guess? It's a 13-6 Packers. Just a classic.
Absolutely. Plus, then it goes against the narrative of a back-to-back McManus game-winning field goal if it's 13-6. And so
you're right. That's us winning handedly.
Yeah, denied.
Request. All right, fair enough. Then I'll just keep my 31-29 prediction. So,
John, anything else you're not a fan of?
Oh man, yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm gonna pivot. I'm quickly not a fan of the World Series.
Baseball.
I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of baseball. I am not moved as a small market Brewers fan enough to give a shit about the Dodgers versus the Yankees.
Yes, thank you.
The fact that they're down.
Agree with you.
The fact that they're down 2, I am now officially just wanting the Yankees to lose more. It's not about the Dodgers doing anything. I just think it's funny if the Yankees lose, because they're the Cowboys of baseball. So that's funny to me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to watch a single minute of the World Series. I don't feel bad about not watching a minute of the World Series. If you're not going to have a salary cap, then why should I care about the few times a year when the teams are actually fair and competitive? Don't care. It's not important. It's not fun. It invalidates an entire season.
Yeah. And the thing is that I'm 100% with you, first of all. And also, the Dodgers spent a crap ton of money payroll. So did the Yankees. They both have teams that are they might as well be all-star teams.
Yep.
It's ridiculously stupid. And there are a bunch of people I know, Armin Sarian calling you out, who say, no, this is good. Once in a while, you just need to see 2 powerhouse teams go against it. Blah, blah, bullshit. No, I don't. I hate that. It's my least favorite thing about baseball is that exists. I want to see teams that had to work together as a team, because no team can be perfect unless you're a baseball team. Then you can literally just buy a perfect team. I hate that. I love when those type of teams fail. They don't make it. It's great. So I hate this. Obviously, game 1 of the World Series, Freddie Freeman's grand slam. Like, yeah, that was a cool baseball moment. I hated that teams that were in it, though. I hated that moment happened between those two teams.
Yeah.
And then seeing the Dodgers win again, I was like, I'm 100% with you. I was like, great. So win twice more and let's end this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The only outcome
be done.
The only outcome that I can appreciate is them getting the Yankees getting swept. That would be that's my best case scenario of this World Series. And if I'm being honest, if the Yankees would have went up 2-0, you probably could have swapped the teams in the same sentence. Then I would be rooting for them to just sweep them, because they're both so unlikable. I did not get better at my Star Wars analogy from the one I made, but it's like, I mean, I feel like I'm,
it's the
Emperor, where I'm watching. I'm watching.
The
exactly. If we're watching, if it's a history, I'm watching two nations from the Axis, and I'm just supposed to care about one of them. I don't care. I don't like either of them. They're not the good guys. Nothing about that is fun or exciting. So, anyways, I'm not a fan. And I'm not. This isn't the most exciting take, because it's just kind of like but that's how I feel. I'm just like and I don't love that an entire sport is ruined because of that. I'm more apt to watch an NHL series than the World Series if a team I'm rooting for isn't in it, because at least there's some intrigue there. And that's what I mean in terms of just like pulling me in kind of a thing,
Well, and the thing is, as a huge fan of baseball and the Brewers and teams in general that are small market, I hate these two teams for completely different reasons, though, right? I don't like the Yankees because they won so many freaking times, right? How many do they have? Like 26?
Yeah, 26 rings.
Okay, that's stupid. Okay,
too many.
You're stupid. You shouldn't be able to play baseball for another 20 years. You need to let the other teams catch up.
Just be done.
I hate it. You've won so many times. Okay, the Dodgers have only won, I believe, 6 World Series. Okay, not saying that is a small number, but in comparison to the way that we compare them to the Yankees,
totally,
I mean, it's not even close. The reason why I'm not a fan of the Dodgers, and I don't want the Dodgers to win, even though I also don't want the Yankees to win, I want both teams to lose, is because the Dodgers said, well, let's just spend all the money. We'll just spend all the money. We'll get Ohtani. We'll just spend all the money and get this guy. We'll just spend all the money. And so I'm like, if they win, they're solidifying the idea that, hey, we won because we spent a lot of money. That's why I can't be okay with the Dodgers winning either. And I had a lot of people too that were like, well, what about Ohtani? Don't you want to see Ohtani get a ring? No, I'd actually prefer to see Ohtani never get a ring. I think that would be even better, is seeing a guy like Ohtani, who is the best player in baseball, have to go through his entire career earning a gajillion dollars and not being able to celebrate one ring. I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like I think I said it last week, Ohtani is like the only bright spot. He got here. I don't love that he's there. If he never made it to a World Series, I would feel the way you do. The fact that he's here, I'm like, okay, my reality has changed. If I have to look for a bright spot, I don't mind seeing a modern two-way player like him.
A modern two-way player with making the most money ever in the history of sports.
I mean, it's a sport where that's allowed, I mean,
yeah, but that's what I
know. I know. I don't like it either. I know, but I'm just saying the flow chart has gotten us to the point. We're at the box of, did the Dodgers pay too much money? Yes. Was it done through nefarious means, and is that shitty? Yes. Is there a player who's at least ultra talented on their team? That's also a yes. So, listen, I wish it would have stopped. My dream would have been that they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just go figure, it didn't happen that way.
Would have loved to have seen the Tigers pull this off this year. That would have been sweet. Would have loved to have seen the Tigers win it all if it wasn't going to be a year. Just one of these teams, the Orioles even. Just put someone in. Yeah. They haven't been there in forever.
Yeah.
I'm fine with seeing that every year. Where'd this team come from? Because if the Brewers ever make it, that's the only way it's happening.
Yeah.
Where'd this team come from? Now I will say one bright spot of the Dodgers making it is it means that the Mets didn't make it. And
love
the Mets
that.
not making it means the curse of the team that eliminates the Brewers always making it to the World Series is over. It's done.
Yeah. Got a little too close for my taste
Yes.
for another year, but
100%. But the point is, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. We can't look at that the same way now. If it happens again next year, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because the Mets didn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do it. We'll do a more formal Brewers check-in just post offseason, maybe next episode. They're announcing, I mean, obviously, manager of the year, Murph, called it. It happened.
Well,
Matt Arnold, not the official,
MLB,
the sport. Yeah.
Sporting News or whatever.
But they're pretty lockstep. It would be
true.
pretty surprising to have it not be the case.
I agree.
And they are like the journalistic gold standard or whatever. So, but yeah, once those become more official, we can kind of parse through that. There were some rankings about, like Bryce at second, which is interesting. And then obviously Sporting, I think they named Contreras, the catcher.
They had him in there too.
Yeah. So we'll check in. We'll check in with them.
There will be a bye week. There'll be a Packers bye week. We'll probably talk about that
the week after next. Yeah. So there you go.
John, you know what I'm not a fan of?
What are you not a fan of?
I'm not a fan of hearing the same damn thing after a Bucks loss as I did last year and seeing the same type of play. It is way too early to even care about the score of a Bucks game at this point. It's stupid early. It doesn't matter at all. None of this matters. But seeing the way that the Bucks played in the home opener against the Bulls, and then hearing Dame on the podium, like saying the same stuff, and I'm just like, no, we're not doing this again, right? Like, I want to see a different attitude about the team. I want to see this team be like, look, that shit was for last year. Okay. The fact that this happened tonight is not okay. And we all realize that. Like, I want to hear that at the very least, because if I'm going to invest in this Bucks team, this specific Bucks team, I need to see something different than what I saw last year.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely feels like more of the same, and it, to bang the drum and talk about all the different things. I mean, it's honestly, man, it looks lazy. It just looks like they can't be bothered. It looks like they thought they were going to be able to roll over the Bulls, and they didn't. They lost again tonight against the Nets, and it wasn't particularly close. I mean, it's not like they got blown out, but yeah, I think they got it down to 4 points in the third. But there you go. The Nets with energy and effort just put it where
150
a lot of
102.
Yeah, dude, a lot of stupid turnovers. And some of that is chalked up to, you do have a lot of new guys, Taurean Prince, Gary Trent. There was that inbound from Prince to Trent, threw it right to the ref. I don't know if you saw the game, but it was bad. I mean, some of the stuff is, you can chalk it up to early in the year, but I mean, they're getting hit in the mouth early, and they're just like, they're not doing it. Just does not, it feels like you said, it feels like more of the same. I don't really want to like relive my feelings from last year. So I don't know, man. The ship goes the way of Giannis and Dame, and I just think like they set the standard, and like, dude, it's been
yeah. But Giannis and Dame both win off against the Bulls.
Sure, they're still getting theirs, but that's you can say that. I mean, Giannis put up 38 points against the Bulls, and it still was not a good Giannis game. I mean,
Giannis only had 22 tonight.
Yeah, he was forcing in the third against the Bulls. And he's defensively pretty uninspiring against the Nets. So I don't know, man. I think there was like a level. I know there was a conversation about getting Giannis, reining in Giannis a little bit, and his media day, sounded a little pouty. It didn't seem like he loved those comments, at least from my interpretation. And we're kind of seeing him not fully bought in yet. So I don't know what needs to happen. It's a classic, dude. They were going against the Phillies. They were expecting to play Joel and PG, and they wanted to make a loud statement, and they were playing with a ton of energy and effort, even without a national game. It's like the emotions are high. And so this is what happens when you're playing lesser opponents. You just play down to them. I mean, they got outplayed in both games by teams that were willing. I mean, dude, the Bulls shot 53% from three or something.
Yeah,
but they're giving up. Yeah, that's
they're
not going to happen
giving them
again.
those opportunities though.
100%. Yeah, like I think the Bucks right now, I think in the last two games have given up something. I don't think Justin Garcia posted like 28 corner three attempts, which is like the most. It's just so bad. It's not even like a league ranking. That's bad. It's bad energy. And then the offense, we moved the ball. The ball movement was insane. Like what? Torian Prince couldn't miss a three. He went like 6 for 7 on his shots. You know what I mean? Like finding good looks, and we just aren't doing it. So I just like, I'm not a fan of just like it feeling the same. I almost wish they were getting blown out, trying something completely different, but to just plug and play different players
yes,
and have it be the same result. That's the part I don't love.
And you know what I think that comes back to though? I think that comes back to Doc.
Yeah.
I said when we did our little season preview that I was not on board with Doc. I'm still not. I still don't think he's the answer. I don't think he's providing the right mentality. I understand that he understands basketball and he's a legend, respect, blah 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 blah, whatever. He's not right for this team. I don't believe that he's getting these guys in the right mindset and the right attitude for this team. You look at the coaches we have in the main 3 teams we talk about. Okay, LaFleur, Murph, and Doc.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
Yeah,
there's a difference with the way that they run their teams.
Well, the Bucks didn't really have an option. They needed to get
a
vet player-minded. I mean, listen,
if you can sign 3 coaches in 1 year,
yeah,
you can bring a different. You don't have to then completely cement the third
guy. Yeah. I don't know. They were saying too. I mean, Doc was vocal saying that they weren't really going to be installing their full offense until Chris is back. So, like, can we get an update on when Chris is going to be back?
Yeah.
I'd love to know
Where's that news? Yeah.
I mean, Greg Buckner, the guy he brought in to like lead the defense. Normally head coaches will Doc fully gave full control to Greg Buckner. I don't know if the seeds aren't bearing fruit, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not working. So I definitely am curious about what that looks like. Defensively, the effort's been poor. That's the biggest thing I've noticed, and it's been leading to some really silly early.
You just look at the quarters.
Yeah,
quarter by quarter, Bucks fall apart in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
I don't want to end the show on this. I feel gross. I feel like I need a shower. Let's end the show on a happy note, which is the Bears losing on a Hail Mary. Oh man! So first of all, I'm keeping an eye on this game. Bears and Commanders. And the Commanders can't get in the end zone all game. It's just field goal. And I'm like, man, if the Bears find a way to score 2 touchdowns, they're going to win this game. You got to be kidding me. And then I thought, I was sitting there as I'm watching this. I'm going, are they not close enough to try to get like one more? Like when they had 6 seconds, I'm like, get a little bit closer and then try like a 60-yard field goal, like try something crazy. And it was like, nope, they're just gonna wind up and ball out. Okay. And then the Hail Mary that's tipped. This is so beautiful for so many reasons. I need to look up what number 29.
Tyreek Stevenson, who's supposed to be following Noah Brown the whole way. There is currently Benjamin Solak tweeted you know how sometimes they'll just do the classic, like, here's your number and you're running around. There is a clear shot of 29 literally just fucking off. And you'd say like, oh, there's no way he was just fucking off, right?
He's mocking fans.
Yes.
There's a video from the fans of him waving goodbye to Commander fans as the ball was snapped, and then realizes it, runs in, and then it's his hand that tips the pass that then goes directly into Commander's player.
Yep.
Touchdown. I was like, it's all on you, dude.
Yep. Yes.
You are the reason.
Oh my gosh. It's absolutely incredible. I just retweeted. I just reposted Solak's tweet about the run play and then that footage that's gone viral of him taunting the fans. But man, the Bears organization is cursed and they deserve it. I don't feel bad. Couldn't care less. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I mean, one, seeing how they have been doing, seeing that they hung around with a Commanders team that has been playing very well this season, to then lose the game in that fashion.
Yeah.
And also, can we just talk about like practicing for a Hail Mary, like for a defense? How can you at any point not know who's behind you? If there are 8 guys that are all going for the ball, You're telling me not one of those guys was told your job is to be back. Like I don't know who the commander player was, but he was alone. There was no one to his left, right, behind. I mean, he was just there. And the Bears players turn around like, oh man, I thought there was no one behind us. How are you unaware? Like when Richard Rodgers caught that, Motor City Miracle pass, it was in front, right? He was in front of everyone and then kind of just like lollygagged back and caught the ball and fell into everyone. This guy was just standing in the end zone like, well, on the off chance it gets tipped, I'm right here. Boop.
Yeah.
Oh, we win. It was insane.
Yes. I mean, as
Bears?
Dude, as a defensive player, your one job is to get the ball on the ground. You know what I mean? You got to just get it. You're not there to catch it. You're not there to, you're just get in the way, get it on the ground. And man,
if he would have even with his fingers been able to tip it more forward, even if a commander player catches it, then they're catching it on the 1 or the 2. And then you could still try to tackle them. And the game's over then.
Yeah.
Goes back 2 yards into the end zone. Game over.
Yeah. I love it.
I loved it so
What
much.
a way better. That's a better palate cleanser for sure.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
fuck the Bears.
Next time we check in, it'll be after a Packers win by another amazing McManus field goal. So
31-29. With who's leading the Packers in that game, by the way? Who's
Jordan Love, obviously.
Jordan Love. Groin injury be damned.
Hey, Pelissero wouldn't have reported that they're hopeful if they weren't hopeful. So
well,
and I don't buy the like we talked about a lot. I don't buy the just let him rest because we have a bye week next week. He's got a bye week, so if he's good enough to play, let him play. So.
You're right. We'll see what happens. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us for this episode of Don't Tell Me How to Fan. Make sure to leave some comments below if you disagree with John or agree with me on anything we talked about in today's episode.
The inverse can also happen. You can disagree with Josh.
But mostly what I said. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe. If for some reason you watched half of this and when I can't look at you guys anymore, make sure to listen to the episodes now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. They are available there as well. And remember to tune in next time because we are not done yet.